What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
And it's something a little different. Charles or Chuck in person with Gavin. What's up?
Oh, true. All right, it's Marcus or Pink. What's good? What's good? The thing froze for me, bro. I wasn't ready.
I knew you'd blow it at the end right there. What's up, everyone? It's Matt or Haz, and of course, we have a very special guest today. One of our favorite commentators, one of our favorite players as well. I got to give it up to him, Coney. What's going on, man?
It's Coney and just Coney. It's nothing else. Don't you be calling me by my first name. I don't even know you people. I'm here as a guest. Okay, so it's Coney. Thank you for having me.
There we go.
Here it is. All right. One of the more aggressive intros we've ever had. But...
I like to set boundaries. All right, everybody watching this, just making sure everybody knows what's good. Everybody, thank you for having me on Tweek Talks. I'm excited.
This is your first, I guess, official one, right? Because we had you on as a guest at a big house.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
It was super fun. I've been wanting to do this forever. I was just waiting for the call, and then Charles hit me up. He was like, "Hey, you want to be on Tweek Talks?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So here we are.
Yep, we're going through the list. So, guys, we are also going to have a bonus topic with Coney talking about PM and HDR at the end. It's going to be part of a Patreon thing, so it's going to be a new Patreon tier. We're trying to create more content for you guys, so make sure to check that out on the Patreon so you guys have access to that bonus topic. And other than that, we're just going to get straight into the episode. Coney, what do you think about the Steve ban? I got to know. I gotta know your thoughts, man.
Jeez. Honestly, dude... it's actually probably good that all of us are on here because I think we got you got a top player, and you have three commentators. And Haz was like, okay. And then you have PinkFresh, who with me has been around forever. Like, from a boomer perspective, I think it's too early. Like, I haven't seen anything happen. Like, I haven't seen the application of it. But I do understand on the other side how people have said, well, okay, well, it took too long to ban stuff in the past, and then it sort of centralized, like the meta crystallized around these characters. So I kind of get that. And it's only going to get worse, right? Like the Steves are only going to learn how to apply it more and more. Felt kind of early to me, but I don't know. I'm not a player, so I don't feel right talking about it. So how do you guys feel?
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of an overcorrection in the same way, where it's like, look, we never did anything in the past. We said this on, I don't know, 2 episodes ago or whatever, but it's like, Steve, we were just waiting for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, Steve, you put one toe over the line, you're done. That's it. He didn't even get to do it in tournaments. So would it have really affected Steve's results? Probably over time, for sure. Probably would have helped a little bit more over time as it got more consistent and more developed. But we didn't even give him the chance, honestly, which I kind of like that the community's like, fuck it, we're taking action right away. I like that.
Yeah, I saw that one was HBox announcing it, right? For
yes.
Coinbox. I think that's the big one where it's just like, oh, wow, it feels a little official just because Coinbox is such a huge tournament in the community, right? So it's a really big deal.
He said in his statement, too, that, like, he was going to do it anyway. This just kind of, like, tipped it over the line. This was the tipping point. So I don't know if he realized how much, well, he, of course, realized it's HBox, but, like, the influence that he held, you know what I mean, in Coinbox is kind of huge.
Did you guys hear the interview with Jake? That was very funny.
No, I missed that.
Tell us about it. So why'd you start playing Steve? And Jake was like, well, I noticed after I played him for a couple of days, I was just beating a bunch of really good players. So, yeah, I just kept playing. I was like, dude, even the Steve players aren't even trying to hide it, dude. This shit is hilarious.
Yeah. For me with Bayonetta, dude, in Smash 4.
Oh, sorry.
I was saying me and Smash 4 with Bayonetta, 1,000%.
Yeah. Me with Bayonetta and Cloud and Donkey Kong.
True.
I forgot about DK. That's true. Yeah, he did.
You were doing it with Bowser Jr. before, though.
I was a little carried.
Are you serious? He was getting jammed with Bowser Jr. Like, he had some impressive wins, but
there's another timeline. There's another timeline where Tweek never gets off Junior and is like still putting up GoFundMes to try to get the tournament. He's like, help, please! I'm the number one Junior. Please,
compendium player.
Yeah, we're bringing the best Bowser Jr. to our tournament.
I finally got into Summit.
He gets 25th. Wow, great result, guys! Fantastic. We're so mean.
Bowser Jr. saga, here he comes.
Yeah.
Get Tweek here. We need him.
There's another world where that happens.
This podcast would not be as successful, I think, in that timeline. I think only Marcus is here with him.
Has plays Ken and Richter.
Good time.
What's funny about my thoughts on the ban is I feel like my don't ban Steve brain is actually more biased than my ban Steve brain, because I want to like win and like beat all the best players so bad that I don't want Kazio or Steve like changed or banned. Like I want to beat them at their best. And if we ban them, it feels like I'm taking away tools from like a lot of the really high ranked players.
Sure.
But then there's a lot more to it too. It's not always just about like what's happening, like, you know, when I'm playing someone in grand finals of a major tournament. Like, you know, we have to consider the timeline of where Smash is at currently, like the you know, like there's no patches or future characters being dropped. Like, Steve was already the best character, and like, you know, organizations dropping players and organizations shutting down in general and less tournaments. Like I think it's important to consider the timeline. And last week, the most important thing I was trying to preach to everyone was a lot of these characters that are pretty messed up in terms of balance and just bugginess is they were created during quarantine where there was like less people working on them, and like it's just true. And I don't hear that being talked about as much. And I think maybe if the community takes a step forward with this, maybe we'll get like a patch or something. Like it's like basically like trying to be hopeful for the best case scenario.
Sure.
So this is the first time I've ever thought the ban was the best case scenario, because usually I'm always competitor first. Like as frustrating as it is to fight against some of this stuff, like I usually don't want to mess with it. But this is the first time I feel like me not wanting the ban is actually me being selfish for myself.
Yeah. Well, as a competitor too, you have to really, and all of us have to care about the overall health of the scene as well. You know what I mean? And it seemed like if you had to choose, ban Steve and hurt the players that play him, or, I mean, like Coney said, and I think this is a really good thing to put out there, is we don't play in tournaments. Myself and Coney and Charles, to an extent, don't play in tournaments as much anymore, so our opinion doesn't hold as much weight, in my opinion. But I have noticed, it doesn't mean I don't have any opinion or any stake in this, but I have noticed a lot of people tweeting about locals are dying, locals are being hurt by this, and this could help. And it's like, well, if it could help, we got to try it. If it doesn't, you can always roll it back. If it wasn't Steve and it was truly everything else that played into it, run it back. Let the Steves
look at the Meta Knight ban in Brawl. Everyone just said, fuck it, bro, bring it back Meta Knight.
Yeah. I was going to say, that feels like copium to me. I think that's just natural, like, disinterest as the game, because, like, as the game goes on, some people hold on to this idea, like, all right, we're 5 years into the game, but this is my year. Things are going to get big. And then the last character drops, interest wanes, and people are like, oh, it's just not happening for me. I'm still going 2-2 or whatever. And I think that hurts locals more than Steve, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, maybe the culture's different and now people are like just not having fun there anymore. I don't think that one character, unless it's Bayonetta, and maybe that's a hypocritical thing in what I'm saying. I think Bayonetta slaughtered mid-level play. I don't think Steve does that, because there's 90 characters in the game. And the game is still not. I think Bayonetta like accelerated the game to like hyper competition where everybody played her. I don't see a billion Steves, but maybe I'm out of touch. I don't know.
The game,
no, there is truth to what you're saying.
The game's more balanced.
Well, relative to like cast size, like that's kind of hard to say. Like I don't know if a game with like, I don't remember how many Smash 4 had, what, like let's say 50 max. Like let's say in top 64 you saw like 12 or 14 Bayonettas, but then in this game you see like 9 Steves, right? Like it's 80 characters, but also then you have to start like, I mean, we would need like data analytics for this, because the scene is also larger now, so it's way more entrants. So then it's like,
True.
I don't know, it's kind of hard. Like someone will have to like run the numbers and stuff, but I'm for sure, like I see people pick Steve, like that have put very little time into Steve, and they cook people that have been playing the game for years. And it's not because, you know, Steve is oh so broken. He's just so strong at like lower levels. It's like really hard to overcome a lot of his tools if you're not like deep into like understanding how the character works, you know? Like he's very different, kind of like Bayonetta, right? Where like she came out and her mechanics were just so different than
Marvel character time.
Than every other Smash game you'd ever seen. And now it's like this character is building terrain, and suddenly his mind card is invincible, but it wasn't invincible before, and it goes faster now, and he's the anvil stronger when he's on it and when he's not on it, and you got to know all these different like weird things that you never keep track of, different materials, like what stages he gets different materials on. It's just a lot of things to like know at mid-level that most people aren't gonna know, you know, and like that can kill the enjoyment for a lot of people that just they're like, not everyone's competing to be the best player in the world. Some people are just competing as like an escape from their life or like whatever. But I definitely have seen the effects of people just like losing to Steve and Kazuya. Like, let's not pretend this is a Steve only thing.
Sure.
It's the same feeling when you
you're playing someone, they're invincible half the game and they hit you 3 times and they win, and you're like, bro, I'm just here to enjoy myself. I'm trying to play some Villager, bro. I love Animal Crossing, and suddenly you're just getting smoked. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's what Coney said, a little column A, a little column B, like waning interest in the game naturally, and then also Steve accelerates that process. Or I think it's kind of the same thing because we have 3 people in here, and Charles to some extent also played Bayo, where it's like, if you're playing as this really good character, no, the game forced you to do it, Chuck. Yeah, it's not your fault.
It did.
When you're playing those characters who are so strong in Bayo and Smash 4 and Steve in Ultimate or Kazuya even, it's like you can tell immediately when they don't know the matchup and when it's going to kind of be a free dub because they're not doing the right things. You know, when they don't punish certain things, when they don't SDI, when they don't do X, Y, and Z to even try, it's like a free walk past that. I feel like it's such a hard and commendable thing to get past that mid-level where you're consistently going 2-2, 3-2, 4-2 and get to that higher level in your locals and do that consistently. Like, I think that's really hard and really satisfying. And I think those characters kind of jump that boundary a little bit, you know?
There's a couple classic things with characters. I think the most glaring thing is the one with Bayonetta, where it's like something that you don't do and you have to beat out of yourself and know not to do. And like Steve has a lot of those, but Bayonetta, the classic one is Bayonetta kills you. You come back off the platform. This is in Smash 4. You come back off the platform and you swing and you immediately get witch timed and you die again. And it's like, oh yeah, I can get witch timed in invincibility. I can get witch timed in off platform. And I think it's like Steve has a lot of knowledge checks like that. Like, you know, him on the anvil with the block above him, the way that he sort of operates off stage. It's just like, there's a lot to keep in mind, and it's not just the same as like, hey, just SDI.
Yeah. I think too, one of the things that's interesting here, Marcus brought up, is he talked about how much bigger the scene is now, and that includes on a global scale, right? Because currently, I mean, obviously in the US, I don't know, what would you like? A bunch of locals are banning him. Coinbox banned Steve. You know, it's kind of popping up here and there, but it's not every single local, right? Like, there's no unified rule set, which we've always talked about forever in Smash. But now it's even bigger because you look at places like Japan or EU. I think some locals there or some regionals there might follow our lead and some might not at all. And it'll be really interesting to kind of see that clash of culture when it comes to, if you come to a US tournament, you can't play as Steve, but if you go to Japan, he still might be legal because Akola and a bunch of other good Steves over there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this develops over time. And like Gavin said, or if there's interference from Nintendo or what's going to work out, but who knows? Could be pure copium.
I worry it's going to create a really crappy issue where it's like, all right, well, you know, Leo is the best player, but Akola is the best player in the real game. Like, it just becomes like, okay, this is a Mickey Mouse game. All right, you want to really see who's good, bring Akola over and don't restrict it. And I'm worried that that's going to happen, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, the new tech, I think even, like, when I break the new tech down, it's like, okay, maybe against, like, sword characters, it's not that good if they hit you with, like, a tipper, like, space something, right? And then maybe you can get shield in time if they minecart or something. Like, there, even when the tech came out, I was trying to cope and be like, you know, there might be counterplay, there might be, but bro, if you're negating knockback, come on, guys. Like,
sure.
I've seen some characters break some like rules of the game, but that's like a super fundamental rule in terms of like, if I fucking hit you, like, unless you have super armor or intangibility, like, I win the scenario. And I definitely get where it's like, okay, maybe you don't get follow-ups or whatever, right? But like getting reversal, like, that's fucked up. Like,
there's some instances though, like, if I mean, like, this is just kind of a knowledge thing, but I remember like it might have been Smash 4, but like you hit Doc up smash and you can punish him because they hit the
right.
So then you get into like
used to be negative.
DK, yeah, I was thinking DK with that one.
DK, yeah. So it's like even then, like it's not negating hit stun, but I see what you're saying in that, like, if I get the hit, I win the interaction. But even that's not a completely binary, like, fully true rule in the game. So people can make that argument. But
the thing about it, because I see a lot of people comparing this tech to like other characters, and spoiler alert, they're always like completely misunderstanding everything they're talking about. Like, is when Steve is doing this, it is using 0 resources. It's not even like an actual move or anything like that. And it's on top of a character that can access more things than any other character in the game in the air, because he can he can add terrain and have access to all of his grounded moves and blah, blah, blah. So you're giving this extra tool to a character who already had extra tools in disadvantage, and it doesn't cost him anything at all, which is like if we compare this to like Shield Art, like that is a visual built-in thing. Like we know what this is.
There's a cooldown on it.
He's not doing it the entire time. Like he's clearly using something to do it, or like Yoshi literally like is jumping and altering.
He's using a jump. Yeah,
he's using his double jump, and he's not like if Steve uses this, Steve doesn't alter where he is or accelerate in some way, or like it is literally just a dub.
Yeah,
there's no
it's the right thing to do in every scenario.
Yeah, and that's the key difference. And the classic is, or like the thing we keep hearing is, it's on top of the best character in the game. It's on top of a character that can already access so much more in this situation that other characters can't.
Plus, it shuts down multi-hits.
It gets really weird because of, I think, having block and all this access to like grounded moves and all these crazy things.
Block is just a really buggy move. Like,
hey, ban block.
What it comes down to.
What if they? I know you said it's because it's on the best character. What if they gave it to like Isabel? Like they're like, all right, it's off of Steve, now it's on Isabel.
How does Isabel do it? Is the question.
She just does it, man. It just happens.
Just like like the pluck thing, where she grabs an item. Now it
now it just stops. Yeah,
I think it'd be fine on her because she's just,
whatever.
Now she's a mid tier.
Yep.
Yeah, except Steve is doing this out of your multi-hit and then minecarding you with redstone and gold, and you're dead at 80.
Yeah,
cool.
I think bad characters all have some like weird intricacies to them, like not to this degree, but like it would become Isabel's like gimmick, whether it's like in the game or out of the game. That's sort of what she's known for, but it's not going to convert.
Yeah, especially because like, what's the answer to this situation with Steve? A character that's not very mobile, right? That's all right. Like, I'm not going to swing that much.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now he puts up a wall, and now he's the best character in the game times 10.
Yeah.
Actually, ironically, this seems kind of brawly to me. Like in Brawl, all the like, so many characters had these like thinking of Isabel with this tech seems to me like the weird things that Brawl would do, where it's like, yeah, this works on everybody, but not on that guy, and on this guy on this stage. Like DK is invincible on Yoshi's. Don't go to Yoshi's.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Rich Brown, dude. Shout out to that set.
Yeah. It's like there's some. It would almost become like that's her one sort of gimmick in this game is sort of smoothed all the way around. The game is very like polished and almost laminated.
A lot of mechanics are universal across the cast and stuff. Yeah.
Right. All right. Enough about Steve. Let's talk to Coney. Coney, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, everybody. Good. I'm kind of sad I'm not traveling as much, man. Honestly.
Yeah, it's rough.
I miss it. Well, it's about the West Coast travel. It's like going to the West Coast was always a mess. It's always so frustrating, but staying on the East Coast is great. So.
Oh yeah, man.
I'm doing a collision.
Hey,
I thought about it, but I'm gonna stay home and I'm gonna stream it.
Oh.
But you said you're not traveling, but you're
but not this
stream it.
Come on. I'm gonna go and this sounds like shots at RJ or Collision. It's really not. I'm gonna go to the big stuff. SmashCon is coming up soon. And that's it. That's the one.
I know.
That's it. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because on this podcast we base obviously a lot of the content talking points are like, here's what's coming up. Who are you excited to watch play? And it's like, oh shit. What do we talk about now? We got to talk about Steve every week. This sucks.
Please no.
This podcast going downhill.
Collision is loaded. There's a lot of great people. It's just
it was last year too with players. Like
it
was a really tough competition last year.
It was
You got second, right?
Fargo Uleo. Yeah, it was top 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's really sick to see because Collision kind of rose out of like the regional. Like I would kind of like to see it keep. You know,
Yeah.
RJ's a great TO. It's a great event. So like I hope it continues to flourish. You know.
Yeah.
Them joints used to get like 30 entrants in Brawl. And we would drive up there from Maryland. Like,
Yeah.
what? New Jersey? We get to compete in New Jersey? What were we thinking? You played Meta Knight and you played DDD and I played Lucas, and all they played was Meta Knight and Ice Climbers up there. It's like 10 of the best players in the world in one region. We were just losing money for free. What were we doing?
Yeah, we were like antelope going to the watering hole that the lions are chilling at, like that they're sunbathing at, and we're just hopping in. What the fuck are you gonna do? Whatever, and then they eat you.
You guys are pot fillers? You guys drove all the way to fill the pot?
Well, I don't know if Zach was, but I definitely was. What the heck?
I wasn't a pot filler. I could hold my own, and then I would run into like somebody who mained Snake, and I beat his ass at Meta Knight. I'm like, all right, dude. Like, the secondary Meta Knights were so much harder because like the main Meta Knights were like hard enough, but at least you can figure it out. The secondary Meta Knights played way more brainless and degenerate, which was ironically harder in my matchup, particularly against DDD.
Well, you also,
yeah,
when you're fighting like the Meta Knight player, mains Meta Knight, you're going into it like really prepared to fight the hardest thing in your life, but if they just switch off to Meta Knight, it's just like a jump scare. Like,
oh shit, you got pocket Meta Knight
like,
now?
oh, I wasn't ready for this. Like, I need like a couple hours to be ready to fight Snake.
And I had a secondary Nest, and I was able to squash a lot of Meta Knights with Nest actually.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the switch up where it's like, all right, bro, you want some goofy stuff that I'm not ready for? Nest. Nobody knew what he did. And it was like, I was able to beat some people, but then they could go Marth. It's like, all right, it's the natural end game. I'm not good enough with Ness. Yeah, and like Marcus could beat a Marth with Lucas because he played that character. Ness was like, come on, man, like leave me alone.
Yeah, I don't even remember what Ness really did in Brawl. I remember Shaky, right? On Brinstar.
He down aired.
Classic. Yeah.
He literally just down airs up and down. He's like a pendulum. He just swings up and down with down air. It's amazing.
And that's good against Meta Knight? That's wild.
Yes. Yeah, because it's so active. If you can, I don't listen to me. It's gonna become a Brawl analysis podcast. No, if you do it right, you can make it work. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Let's dive into that more. Actually,
no, let's not. I don't want to talk about Ness anymore. Brawl Ness, I miss every day. He's so stupid now. I hate him. I hate new Ness. Yeah.
Hey, Tweek Talk fans, you know what it is. It's sponsorship time, and we're happy to say that today's episode is brought to you by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or your computer. Now, personally, I love finding deals when shopping online. It makes me feel savvy and smart with my decisions, especially when the deals are a surprise. There's nothing like feeling a little lucky when shopping online and finding good deals. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Now imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you go to checkout, the Honey button appears and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey does its work and searches for coupons it can find for that site. And if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Now this year, one of my resolutions is to get more into working out. I've been good about the treadmill, but I want to start pumping some weights, right? So I was looking for a new blender, right? I was trying to buy a new blender online. And when I went to go check out, I clicked on my Honey widget and I was able to find a deal and actually save $20 on a really nice blender. Now, this was surprising because it's a really high quality blender. Saving $20 on it was super awesome. And I got to thank Honey for that one. Now, one last thing. Did you know Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it also works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari and your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting this show. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tweek. Again, that's joinhoney.com/tweek. joinhoney.com/TWEEK. Tweek. He's like good now. That's the annoying part. It used to be a joke every time.
Boring, man.
Well, hold on.
I don't know about that.
No,
he's got infinites now.
Coney, sorry.
He's also good.
Coney, name your top 3 characters of all times across Smash games.
Every game?
Yes, including PM Wario.
Yeah, PM Wario is number 1.
Yeah.
Nice.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, that was magical. Giving me a command grab that I could mix up 50-50, like, that's drug to me. Dude, like, literally, when I found out you could do that, I was like, that is like, because my whole game plan is I'm gonna do A until it stops working, then I do B. So, and that's sort of the flow chart that I go down. And dude, being able to flip the side on bite is so good, because people will not learn that DI until game 2. And then I was like, all right, you know what it is now. So you know I'm flowing this way now. You're dead again. Oh, that's tough, bro. That's too sad. Also, PM Wario could just stuff Spaceys if they didn't know the matchup, because they would always try to get back, and then you just back there and they die at 20. So, excellent. Number 2 is Brawl DDD, obviously.
Yes.
I'm so sad that he's one of the few, and I mean, Charles, you and I talked about this at events. Like,
yeah,
very few Smash characters have gotten a full remake, right? Think about it. There's like Luigi, who now has become a grab lord. And there's Olimar, kind of, but not really. Like, all of his moves function the same. He just
Game & Watch kind of got revamped quite a bit.
I mean, from Melee to Brawl, but Game & Watch, even like Brawl Smash 4 Ultimate, is like the up B man. He's like Mr. Up B with attacks that like make a box around him, and you have to respect it, you know?
Right.
So, I don't know. It's weird. I just miss old DDD.
Like,
yeah. DDD just became a totally different character, because he used to be like a tank, a range tank, kind of. You pop the forward tilt, you keep people at bay, you get the grab, do 17 with back throw. There it is in the thing. Hell yeah. And then, but now he's just like a ledge memer. He's like, oh, do you know what to do with Gordos? Oh man, I lose.
Shit.
Yeah, so as long as you know how to play around Gordo, it's like, but yeah, I hate what they did to DD. Third favorite is...
This is the one I was curious for, because I was almost positive what the first 2 would be. Now 3, I don't know what you're going to... Brawl Ness, I think.
I mean, probably Brawl Ness. I have a soft spot for Brawl Ness. I love Brawl Wario to death. I never played him enough to be like...
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's just so cool, man. Like, Wario also got a pretty big... Not a remake, really, because he functions the same, but he's not as extreme.
Got a remake.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, because, like...
Keep the tire away.
Ironically, it's kind of weird, because like where the other characters got more extreme, like Luigi became like the grab guy, and now he's Mr. Grabs. Wario, who used to be like super evasive, like you can't touch him, you straight up can't hit him, has now become like, he's still the aerial guy, but he's not as, maybe it's because the whole game is about aerials now, but it's like he doesn't feel as extreme. I mean, Tweek, you've played it, so you know, like he doesn't feel quite like, he feels like he's like Diet Brawl Wario, like he's toned down to like 7 or 8, whereas in the last game he was like extreme on that end. He was a lot stubbier too, you know.
In Smash 4, he was just
like, so bad,
just a shell of a character.
Yeah.
And Ultimate, they like were like sorry, and like gave us a bone or two, but.
I don't know why they did that to him in Smash 4 too. It's not like he was dominating or anything in Brawl. Like, he was good. He was very well balanced in Brawl. Like, he was great, actually.
There's two things I'm very upset at. Yeah. His forward smash is the dumbest animation I've ever seen.
Why did they do that? Like, he had a good one before. Like,
it was iconic too.
Dude, well, from Brawl to Smash 4, and they kept the Smash 4 thing in Ultimate. Yeah. So in Brawl, he had the reverse plumber throw. Like, his forward throw was the Mario Luigi back throw, and that's amazing. Like, that is great. And it's like they just took away all of the flavor. I don't know why. And in Ultimate, I'm satisfied. I'm not like ecstatic. I think he's great. He's cool. But like, tires were so cool. He just had so much character in Brawl, and he just lost a lot of it. I don't know what went wrong or why they hated him so much, but he's fine now. But in Smash 4, it was like, not only was he one of the worst characters in the game, he was just so boring.
I think they just really balanced them around Waft. It was like the same way that Luigi became like, okay, the grab is his thing. It felt like, okay, Waft is his thing. Make everything else bad. And then they realized they went too far in Ultimate, maybe. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Brawl Wario, but it's hard to say. Brawl Ness I love, but he's kind of bad, but he's so fun.
Like DDD had chain grabs and stuff in Brawl, and then they switched him over to Smash 4. Like it's like DDD wasn't even good. Like, he was a high tier. He was good against shit characters, but against the good characters, DDD got farmed, and like they just totally shit on him coming into Smash 4. I was like, why?
Yeah,
his character wasn't even dominating in any way, shape, or form except the first like 6 months or a year of the game, where everyone played shit characters, everyone got chain grabbed, and then once people figured out like, oh, I can just pocket Meta Knight or pocket Icy's this thing, it's like it's a wrap. It's so easy. Or even like pocket Falcon and stuff. I don't know. It was very disheartening, and I definitely felt like I had a really low roll. I remember the first like couple months, or like the first, actually it only took me like 2 weeks to drop DDD in Smash 4 because it's so dog shit.
Yeah, you realize immediately. Yeah,
I tried to make it work, and Void beat it out of me. Void was like, I'm doing this because I'm your friend, and he just
good friend.
Rosalina, and I was like, dude, I swear I can. He's like, right, and then Void was just like, dude, stop, like stop doing this to yourself. I know you love the character, but you can't play this character.
Dude, it happened to me
with K-Rool in Ultimate.
Yeah. It happened to me live on stream where like it was one of the first Xanadu weeklies, and I played 6WX, and I hated. Yeah, this set was so funny. I hated DDD, but I'm like, all right, let me play Ness, and I played Ness, and I think I lost game 1. I don't think it went to game 3. I lost game 1. I was like, all right, bro, let me try DDD. Hold on, I got this figured out. I know how to play DDD, Sonic, and Brawl. Like, I'll figure this out. I'm gonna beat his ass. And people are like, oh, he's playing. Yeah, there it is. I got my ass beat. It was not close. Or look, I tried to B reverse inhale. He just baits it out and then kills me. It was god awful. I never played DDD after this. It was so sad.
That's one of the funniest things about new Smash games coming out, because it's like it's so exciting. Like maybe my character will be like fucking awesome, but it's also a little scary because it's like maybe my character will fucking suck, and also maybe a character like Sonic is gonna be broken. You know, like these characters that I hated, at least they were dog shit before, but now it's like, damn, they might be a threat coming into this next game. And that, dude, that to me is like one of the most exciting things about new Smash games coming out.
Or seeing who people are going to play. I love that. Like, watching people play, and it's like they're figuring out, like, Leo lands on Ike, and it's like, oh, dude, Ike is so cool. Look at the and then he switches. It's like, but I think what's funny about Smash characters is, like, they kind of are, like, if Smash characters are stocks, like, Rob is a very safe bet, I think. If you go into the new game and you're Rob player, like, I think that's a safe. Diddy is so safe.
Diddy, Fox, Pikachu.
Yeah. It, like, they're always going to have good normals, like, whether they change other stuff. It's just how do they function in the engine. So it's really fascinating to see, like, and then one character just is going to get, like, completely wiped off the earth in pretty much every game. Like,
the best character of the last game is
usually,
they're gone.
I think this is a really fun topic to talk about, just in terms of just like throughout all the different Smash games, right? It's always like the speedster characters, especially when you go back in time, right? Like traditional Smash, like when you think back to like, you know, starting with Melee, like all the speed characters, especially when jump squat wasn't universal. So before Ultimate, jump squats weren't universal across the board. Bowser had like a frame 6 or 7 jump squat. Link had like a frame 6 jump squat or something like that. And then like Fox, Sheik had like the frame 3 jump squats. But it's so interesting to see them really try to cater the game more towards heavier characters and try to like universalize everything. But at the very end, what's still good? It's the fast, speedy characters with the good frame data, no matter how hard they try.
I think the best example of that is in 4, because they were like, let's buff the heavies. They're like, DK kills you at 40 now. It's like, all right, now he's a mid-tier. Cool.
Yeah. He's okay.
Now he's pretty good. But that was always their solution. Bowser, they're like, he kills you at 50 off a grab. It's like, why is this your solution? Why is that what you're doing? Like,
I loved how bold they were, though, in Smash 4. They were very bold with their patches. Like, when a Smash 4 patch dropped, you were like,
it's a big deal.
Shit, you don't even know what the fuck's going to happen.
They were bold in Ultimate. You just didn't like it because they gutted Pichu for Void. Yeah, that was bold.
They felt more extreme on the nerfs in Ultimate, because it was like, you know, Pichu gets harmed, Zero Suit kind of gets like not completely shelved, but like
Olimar got fucked.
Peach,
Okay, he needed it though for sure.
Peach felt. Peach,
I love good Olimar.
A little bit more toned down, but like
not that good.
Well, I think
I love it when Olimar is good in a meta. I love that because I think he creates a very fun villain. Like, everybody will hate to watch Olimar. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Better than Rosalina. I'm sick of her.
Woo! Min, very fun villain. Woo!
Yep,
Everybody
Min
hates
too.
Dude,
Yep.
promising.
I think every meta needs one of those.
Yeah, they do.
Even if it's not like overpowered, like Bayonetta. One of the things I actually wanted to ask, like, you play like traditional fighters and stuff in Tweek? I know you played Street Fighter for a little bit. Do you think the overprevalence of like speed characters being good, to me, always thought it was a function of like mobility? Because it's like in Street Fighter, yeah, big characters can be good because you kind of have this level of intimidation. It's like, all right, you're boxed up. You're in the corner. You have to guess. You're playing a different game then. In Smash, it's very difficult to pinch somebody like to the edge. Like there's so many resources, so many things you can do. If Sonic really wants to go high, he can just up B over you. Snake will just fly up. It's like, is it a mobility thing, do you think, or is Smash just a lot more extreme in terms of like the stuff that you can sort of spam?
I think that is. Oh, go ahead, Gav.
Sorry, I think the problem when you're fighting a fast character in Smash as someone that's just not as fast, whether it's like big or just slow or both, is how suffocating your game plan becomes, even when it's neutral or even when you're an advantage. Like, for example, if I'm Sephiroth and I'm fighting Sheik and I hit Sheik and she's above me, even though I just won neutral, I can't swing my slow sword move still. I have to establish such a extreme layers of advantage state where Sheik just every basic game plan, even when she's losing, it's going to work. You'll get rewarded even for sloppy gameplay. Or like if Sheik's in the corner and I'm Sephiroth, I can't swing my moves even though she's in the corner. She's just going to jump over me and maybe even hit me for it. Yeah. And it's just how suffocating it is. Not even just in neutral or when you're getting hit. Even when you're winning, it's still like you're very limited no matter what, because they can just teleport in front of you in the blink of an eye.
I think, too, one of the big differences is we're talking, and you said it a couple times. I think there's a huge difference between the corner in Street Fighter and then also the ledge in Smash. Smash, in general, compared to especially more traditional fighting games, is more free-flowing. Like, you don't need to move. Like, Street Fighter, you're kind of locked into this grid that you play on, right? Like, if I jump, it's always the same arc from where I start to where I end. In Smash, it's like I could jump and go this way. I can go back. I could jump and I can go forward. So these mobile characters, when they have to get out of the corner, have those options. But as a bigger character, it's like I'm locked into this grid. And on top of that, since the game is a little more free-flowing, your opponent also has more things that they can hit you with. So your options are limited, especially at the ledge or especially in disadvantage. And your hurt box is enormous as a bigger character. So I think that Smash's ability to be a little more free-flowing actually really hurts those characters in those scenarios, because when it limits your options in Smash, you really feel it. Not to say like it feels fucking horrible to get stuck in the corner in Street Fighter, but sometimes once you get out, you get out. In Smash, it feels like you just get rinsed and repeated. Sometimes in Street, and I feel like in Street Fighter 2, I'm thinking mostly Third Strike because that's the one that I play the most, is if you get stuck in the corner and you lose to like Oki situations, you're just dead and you move on to the next round. In Smash, it's like relentless. Like as DK, you're just going to get bared over and over. Like DK against Sheik, right? Like it's just when the fuck does it end? Really? Like when does this stop? It's gonna take forever, but it's gonna end sometime. So
that's why like certain moves become so good in Smash. Like if you look at like the multi-hit neutral airs, like Mithra or Byleth, they're so good because they're covering so many variables and there's a big margin for error. And like it like, and then if you look at like I'm so Sephiroth brain, sorry, but if you look at a character like Sephiroth where the range is overall bigger, it covers like a more specific area, where like a lot of these moves that are just like sweeping or like circular, like it's just like I'm reading this jump but I'm covering every type of jump, where in a lot of other scenarios in Smash, like it's a lot harder to like, you know, track people. And then if you compare it to something like Street Fighter 5 where like Oro has a double jump, which sounds like it's going to be crazy and break the mold. And in some situations, I'm sure it's tricky. But like Haz said, like even with that extra variable, there's only so much going on. Where with Smash, it's just ridiculous.
Palutena was the first example of that like multi-hit neutral air, and I remember specifically because like
covering where you think the bad guy is.
Yeah, and like with people not being able to shield out of initial dash, like people were just running into it at the beginning, and it's like, all right, well, what do we like? She was the anti-jump character in a game where everybody jumps, and she's sort of like faded less in terms of relevance just because DLC is so prevalent. But yeah, I don't know, it's an interesting thing.
I mean, they tried to compensate that with unit collision. Remember, that was a very big deal. I think it brought more like buggy, weird scenarios than it actually helped. But like in Smash 4, if you think it was hard to like corner characters like Fox and Sonic,
that's a good point. Yeah.
In Smash 4, they could just run right through you.
Right.
You have to put your shield up and just be like, oh shit, I could get murdered right now from a dash attack from Fox. You're going to shield, and Fox just zips right through you, and he's like, oh, now I'm in the center, right? Or any speedy character. So now there's unit collision in Ultimate, so you can't do that. But then it's still, even with that, they tried to make it more of like a traditional thing where you can't run through you. But there's still things like quick attack or special moves that can go through shield, right? And then just the amount of sheer options that you get in Smash. And like, I love how Coney brought up mobility, just because the sheer distance characters can go within a span of half a second or a full second in Smash compared to traditional fighters. Like, I mean, we joke about it when we're playing friendlies or just like watching like Sonic or Fox, but we're just like, oh yeah, look at Fox or Sonic are teleporting all over the map because like they're just moving that fast.
Just half stage burst.
Way you get that traditional fighter is like Dhalsim teleporting or something. You know what I mean?
An actual teleport,
right?
Akuma teleport. I always think of Chun wall jump is also good. Like some characters have those in Street Fighter.
Oh yeah, the Bayo wall jumps and stuff like that. Yeah. So there are very few examples of it in Street Fighter, but like they're very situational, right?
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
And when you look at the core of the game, it only adds so many variables.
Well, the Oki strong. Well, it's like you look at something like frame 1 DP also exists in Street Fighter. You don't really have that off the ledge in Smash, you know, unless you count get up attack. It's kind of like that, but not.
Remember
really.
The Mamma Mia, the normal get up into the Shoryu. I remember that. That was that guy invented that. Yeah, that was amazing.
Wait, we left out a game. Zach, what about Brawl minus Luigi?
That's
my number 3. That's my number 3. I forgot about that.
Brawl minus Luigi?
Yeah, dude, minus Luigi is like a superhero.
Why do you like him?
Aerials. So my type in a Smash game, I have a very specific type. I'm a Drift Lord. I love drifting. I'm a Drift Lord aerial guy, and if I can get a command grab, even better, because I try to lock somebody in shield and then get them guessing. Like,
I like that too.
Yeah. I don't think I'm like. I think people think that like I play grapplers. I'm not a grappler guy. I'm just sort of a 50-50 guy, and I'm aggressive, which is why I hate Jigglypuff and Melee. I've been trying to play Melee. It's miserable. Everybody runs from me. It's fucking annoying. I'm trying to fight. But no, Brawl minus Luigi, I don't even know how to describe it. Oh yeah, here he goes. Look at his drift. God.
Dude.
So the drift is crazy, and the forward air spikes. Yeah, so the forward air spikes. There's so much to it. Down throw does that. Up B does the sweet spot no matter where it is. It is weaker. But look at that. Oh yeah, that always misfires. Yep, that too.
Of course.
This game is fucking hype, dude. I love mine.
He feels like Superman. I feel like I'm piloting a superhero, genuinely. And there's something about him. It's just so free-flowing. I loved him to death.
Yeah. I think Brawl Minus is one of the best modded games
we
ever had. It was really so funny. They literally just had fun with the character design. I think if the character select screen didn't have those goofy images, it could have taken off. That's my theory. Remember the images they had? They're they're like MS Paint drawings.
Huh? I also hated how they tried to balance the game. Like 1.0 was the best version, and then they started to give a shit and balance the game. I'm like, why the fuck are we we're playing this because it's dumb as shit and everything's overtuned. That's the point of Minus.
Wait, who'd you guys all play in Minus? Go around Marcus.
Mario.
He be fireball.
Yup. You remember I was mashing B. Oh my.
Charles?
I played Falco and Marth.
Gavin?
Falco
and Marth, by the way.
I was like,
so real.
Dude, Falco had like 4 or 5 jumps. It was hype.
Did he? I don't remember.
I know what all the characters did, but I never settled on a main.
Oh, okay.
DK could pluck
barrels. I played DK. He threw barrels in.
I love DK.
DK was crazy.
I tried everyone in that game.
I remember specifically, so there was actually a tournament. It's funny that you bring up the balance thing. I was at a Midwest Brawl Minus tournament. I was very good at the game. So I went to go play there, and I beat the guy in winners finals, and I forgot who he played. It might have been DK. So I beat him with Super Luigi. He's like, I got something for you in grands. You haven't seen this before. I tried not to do it because it's cheap, and they're going to patch it. They're going to change it, but I'm going to do it. I'm like, oh, yeah? He's like, yeah, I'm winning. Watch this. And then he locks in Olimar, and he pulls no Pikmin, and Olimar had like an up B that was supposed to be like a Game & Watch up B where it just like hits you. I think it was like that, but it straight up didn't work, and I 3-0'd him quickly. Like, But he really thought, because that worked against everybody in the Midwest, that was the play, and I slapped him up.
Cook.
Yeah. And like, he was really a good player, but it's just like, it was so funny because like, you would feel like a god in Minus. I felt like a god in Minus. And then Junebug played Meta Knight. I'm like, I can't move. Like, Luigi literally can't do it because it's disjoints and Meta Knight has priorities. Like, the character balance in the counterpicks were so extreme that they tried to change it. And it's just like, dude, just let the game become... It would have been like Overwatch. It just would have been a counterpick fest. It would have been like, oh, yeah, this one's mad funny. Can I tell a story real quick? I love this story to death. Okay, it might take a little. Look at that Wario side B. It was basically PM side B. So when we all played in the video that you're watching, and oh yeah, he also had a trip that would happen half the time, and it did damage. So this event, I was playing Brawl minus Luigi, and there were like 8 of us there. We got snowed in at the VGBC house, like 8 to 10 of us in Laurel. And there was a guy there who picked Luigi, and the Luigi had an invincible taunt. The kick one, you could not touch him, and you could link it, so you could just keep doing it over and over. This guy picked Luigi, and he got damage on the other guy, and then he just started doing that. And like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but he did it for like 6 minutes. And everybody's like, hey, man, we're not like playing a tournament. Like, can you like stop being annoying? He's like, what? It's a viable strategy. We're like, dude, what the we kicked him out into the snow. Cool. It was so bad.
That's why. What did we say in the beginning of Ultimate? Someone's like, we need a Mewtwo King clause, because if there's a rule, it will be abused by people in the same exact vein. We need to think of every. I think it's when we realize that every stage will have hazards off, and it's like the number one thing we need to think about is how can this be abused in the worst way possible, and what do we need to look out for? Smashers, they do that worse than like anybody. Some people hold it. There was a guy in Brawl that was famous for it named Cheese, and he's not around anymore. But Cheese used to like be like not around anymore. No, well, okay? I think he's a lawyer now, which makes sense because he would literally like comb through rule sets and find the one thing that you didn't think of, and then he would just cheat. And it's like, you didn't have it in the rule set. Sorry, dude was grinding. Is it really cheating if it's not in the rules? Yeah. So, Coney, just a question, because it's okay. By the way, it is really strange calling you Coney. Like, I know, right? You can call me Zach. Everybody else. I mean, I've known you for 15 years. I was in your wedding. Like, it's just I'm calling you Zach. Everybody else, yeah. So now that I think about it, have you won a tournament in every game? Did you win a Smash 4 tournament? No. Okay. Not even. Wait, I did. When I was in Washington. Bracket? No, not even Cloud. So I went to Washington for a work trip, and I won a local there over Shinku, I think, the Sheik player. He was really good. I think he didn't know the Mario matchup or whatever. But yeah, I've won in Brawl, PM, Smash 4, and Ultimate somewhere. Damn, Brawl Minus, that's true. Yeah, I was thinking that's what brought up the thing, because I was like, bro, won in Brawl Minus too. What is your favorite set that you've won? Oh God! Or it could be a set that you almost won. Yeah, I mean, I'm still mad about the Mewtwo King set. That will always haunt me. I'm so mad about that. Explain. Oh, you okay? For anybody that doesn't know, I hate talking about it because it feels like something that like I don't want to sound like an old dad sitting on the lazy boy like, oh, I should have. But basically, we went to the Midwest for a tournament, and this was when like Mewtwo King was the top guy. He was the #1 player in the world. And I had to play him, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to get mopped. I'm going to get destroyed. And game 1, he doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he straight up has no clue what he's doing. And I'm sure his stuff works on other DDs, but I played really weird. Like, I did not play optimal. I was goofy. Like, I'm jumping. Like, I'm an aerial guy. And I 3-stock him game 1. What? Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's crazy. Yeah. So I 3-stock him game 1. Game 2, he goes to Norfair, because of course he does. You had to ban Brinstar and Cruz, so he goes to Norfair. I lose that one easily. Jesus Christ. And game 3, we go PS2, because that's the best stage for DD, because there's the thing. So the big issue with this tournament, so every tournament had been planking, because Meta Knight could just go to the ledge, he could just up air, and there's nothing you could do about it. There was one tournament that didn't, and it was this one, and it was because the TO was a Game & Watch player, and she didn't think it was that big a deal. Because Game & Watch could plank too. And she was like, oh, it's not a big deal, whatever. So game 3 comes around, and I get planked. And then I have to go over there, and I have to chase him down, and it was a wash. So very frustrating set. Still lives in my head. Because it was like, it's that perfect intersection of like, the rules not really mattering, but they should have, whatever. Favorite set that I won?
I don't know, probably my first PM tournament win.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a little obvious, but like, I don't know. You always sort of get conditioned as a Brawl player that like, all right, you're not playing the real game, right? You can't hang. And I went into PM. I was like, all right, I'll never win a tournament, but whatever. And I got better and better. And I'm like, I could do this. And it was at a time when MDVA was probably the best PM region, right?
Sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Your two tours were insanely good. Like your mid-level play, your low level, everybody was really good.
Yeah. It was crazy. So like we were probably the best region in the US for PM. Like didn't have the best players, but had the best like concentration, I guess. So being able to win a tournament at one of those was like, I don't know. It was a big deal. It meant a lot.
Thanks everyone for watching. We are getting close to 100 episodes. And also thank you so much to Coney for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
Always happy to be here.
Oh yeah. So we're going to jump to our Patreon episode, the Patreon bonus part. So if you guys are interested and want to hear us talk more about, PM, HDR, and some of the other off-make games of Smash, make sure to go to the Patreon and check that out. But until next time, see you guys later.